Bitcoin is right now absolutely exploding sideways, leaving many people asking the question, are we about to big pumpy or are we about to giga dumpy? Well, look no further because what I'm about to show you in this video isn't just big. Wow, it's really big. If you're watching this video right now, I want you to look to your left. Now I want you to look to your right. Now, once you've done that, I want you to go look at yourself in the mirror. And once you do that, I want you to understand there's a 99% chance that that person you see in the mirror is a future crypto millionaire. And what I'm about to show you in this video will give you more confidence than ever that that beautiful person staring back at you in the mirror isn't going to just be a crypto millionaire, but potentially a crypto billionaire. So if you understand it's not how much you get pumped on, it's how much you can get dumped on and keep on pumping on in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Get signed up to FEMEX or BINGX below if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. And without any further ado, let's absolutely, completely dive into what truly will be some mind-blowing, potentially even mind-numbing because of how insanely big it is, data. Bitcoin today is honestly we've actually bounced on the 21-day moving average, but more importantly, on the daily chart for Bitcoin, something ginormous is actually happening. But before we take a look at that, there is a fundamental piece of news that you have to understand that, I personally think Bitcoin could have a big drop, but one of the things that needs to happen, in my opinion, for that to happen is that these GBTC outflows need to remain high. However, yesterday, we saw something massive. We saw the lowest day of outflows since the ETFs were introduced back in the middle of January, basically 3 months ago. Actually, is today exactly 3 months, I think, maybe since the ETFs have been trading. I think it was January 11th, right, or so when they started trading. Anyway, yeah, I think it was. So today's, wow, happy 3 months of Bitcoin spot ETF gangbanging on the baby bear is absolutely very big. But I guess a good 3-month anniversary is that we saw record low outflows of just under 20 million, about $17.5 million from GBTC yesterday. Is this the end of Grayscale's selling streak? I don't know. But I will tell you one thing. There will be an end to the Grayscale selling streak. They only have so much Bitcoin. They can't sell forever. And I think they're going to be very upset once they sell their last eensy-weensy Bitcoin and they no longer get to participate in the largest bustathon since the history of the beginning of mankind. So this is honestly a really big point of data. You can see on this chart, it's not something small. Right here was yesterday's outflows from GBTC. Look how big they've been specifically for the past month and a half. A lot of outflows. And this has contributed to Bitcoin kind of having trouble. Although, if we really look back, is Bitcoin having trouble? No, it looks beautiful. We've been going, this is like really healthy, really bullish, constructive price action. This is exactly what you want to see leading up to this bull market as we enter the most explosive phase. We've cooled off now, and that's actually something I want to jump into in a second. But another thing is that over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts will be completely smushed like a scoop of peanut butter. I put a scoop of peanut butter in my hand and I just smush it down to nothing. That's what's going to happen to these shorts sooner or later. And that will give Bitcoin the juice to go even higher. Okay, now that's exciting. That's really big. So this whole range, these shorts have, honestly, if you shorted Bitcoin, it's not like you're doing amazing at these levels. Bitcoin has been holding. It has flipped resistance after resistance after resistance, and it's been holding support. So honestly, this price action is insanely constructive, and it looks good. If we look at the daily chart for Bitcoin, this is another big thing. So the Bollinger Bands, again, are still tightening, even more tight than they were yesterday. The tightest they've been actually going all the way back to basically the beginning of February when Bitcoin was at $42,000 before it initiated a complete moon mission from 42,000 to 52,000 to 62,000 to 72 to 73, 74,000. So yeah, the Bollinger Bands are tight. Look how incredibly tight they've just gotten in just the last 24 hours. You can see on the BBWs. Nice. And also, on the daily chart, we see this. We are about to actually get a bullish cross on the MACD for the first time since back here in the like February 20th. And where was Bitcoin last time we got the cross? It was right around 52,000, after which it expeditiously made a move from 52,000 to 74,000 and beyond. Now that's beautiful. So basically really good. What has happened over the last month is really good. Look how much we've come down on the MACD. We have cooled off, which is what I've been saying we need to do, right? A lot of people agree. A lot of people have been saying the same thing. Obviously, we need to cool off. We need to test the 21-day moving average's support and cement it. And so far, that looks pretty good. Bitcoin has also done that. Basically, what I'm saying is Bitcoin has constructively consolidated beautifully, and it's not a guarantee that we're about to head up or crash, but basically the structure we have on this chart is extremely healthy, and all signs are showing that Bitcoin, whether it's tomorrow or a week or two from now, is going to have a massive upside move, a massive continuation move. Just like if we go to this chart back in 2020, the exact same spot as we were kind of held down by that previous all-time high resistance, exactly right at about 20,000, exactly similar to us right now, right here. Yeah, very similar structures here. Bitcoin has had 2 dips below the 21-day moving average here, just like back here. Maybe it could be time that we just start lifting off. You see what happened after last time right here. You see what happened, just straight vertical, just straight balls to the wall, pump until I go limp type action. And if we look on the weekly chart, these are the exact same charts, but on weekly instead of daily. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin absolutely could initiate a mega move here. Now, I do want to highlight, especially if GBTC outflows are cooling off, that absolutely gives Bitcoin a much higher chance of starting to float to the upside. And the thing is, once these breakouts actually start, they usually pick up a lot of steam, and they usually finish rather big. So we're in a good spot. Absolutely, we could still get a dump, but looking at this chart again, I mean, if we continue to hold so far we've not even gone below like the midline of this symmetrical triangle that we've been in since bouncing above it back at the very beginning of this month, about 8 days ago. This could very quickly turn into a bullish breakout. Daily chart absolutely is telling us that we can. Okay, the daily chart looks good. Daily chart actually looks really good, which is important. We've actually had about a solid, basically 25 or so days with the MACD resetting. We've had the RSI reset a little bit. You see how, for example, back here, see how overextended we were or overbought we were on the RSI. This was back in late February. Basically right in this whole range. We have reset a lot of this momentum. Bollinger Bands have tightened again. Overall, Bitcoin is in a much healthier spot, in my opinion. And it absolutely also, I think, has the juice to initiate an upside move. Absolutely, I think it's very wise to be cautious of a short-term dump, but only in the context of a bullish dump, right? I don't think any dump we'll see here is actually bearish at all. I think Bitcoin has done enough to reset its momentum on the short time frames to where it can start initiating an upside move. But I also think that if we get a dump here, it's the most bullish dump we could be getting, and I think that Bitcoin will very quickly reverse and start pumping, basically giving you one final opportunity to accumulate or enter a long position at any dumpy level. But realistically, you look at the daily chart for Bitcoin. Let's look at this chart. It's a little cleaner. You see, look at this chart. You look at this. This is not bearish price action whatsoever. It's pretty much textbook, basically the best A+ version textbook of what healthy consolidation looks like before continuation. It looks beautiful. I have nothing, and I have nothing bearish to say about long-term structure of this, and even if we, as I keep saying, even if we do get a pullback, it's a pullback before a mega pump, in my opinion. So overall, you know, if I say we're going to have a dump, it's important to understand. Absolutely, I'm the least bearish person on Bitcoin on the planet at this price. This looks really good. It looks very good. But as I've been saying, I just think it's wise to understand that even still, you know, if we get a flash crash, whatever. But I think that we would need some fundamental news at this point to really drive that down. And we have to understand that if GBTC outflows actually are declining, this is a good potential indication. It'll be just interesting to see how today and tomorrow come in terms of the outflows. Because if we get consistent, I don't like basing it on one day. I think that's kind of dumb. I mean, for example, look, here we had one day of really low outflows, and then look what happened the next few days, right? Oh my gosh, like a 20x the outflows in just a few days, right? Just massive outflows. So I don't like basing it on one day, but ultimately, if the trend does start dying down a little bit, which I think it will, it's not like they can only sell Bitcoin for a certain amount of time until they run out. Until GBTC runs out of Bitcoin. Once they're gone, I mean, that'll just make it so much easier for liftoff. But liftoff has basically happened the entire time. Keep in mind, look at all these outflows we've seen from GBTC, and you look at a weekly chart for Bitcoin or a daily chart, we've just been still floating to the upside. So really the last real obstacle is those outflows, and I think they are dwindling heavily. So overall, it's just one of those moments you have to wait and watch. This breakout could start at any moment. In this breakout, if we truly break out of the symmetrical triangle, will put us above 80,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. And get signed up to FEMX or BINGX below if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. Without any further ado,